and I'm moving my screen. All right, let me just check this last one. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to move your. All right, so welcome everyone. Happy Friday. Man, who puts a webinar on the calendar on a Friday? That's right, we do. So we are so excited that you are here and joining us for In the Weeds, a Facebook fundraising. If this is your first time with us, here at Turnkey, our goal is to bring you as many resources as we can. We want you to be successful in your peer-to-peer fundraising and your development overall as an organization. So we bring you resources from our years and years of knowledge and experience with clients, as well as we partner with some amazing partners throughout the industry that help with lots of good stuff. So we have one of those on the call with us today. But again, we want to bring you as many resources as we can to help you be successful. So today we've gathered a few experts, and they are going to be talking to us about the frustrating and confusing world that is Facebook fundraising. My goal or my job today is I'm your cruise director, so I'm here to make this fun, keep it moving along. We only have an hour together, so I'm going to do my best to monitor our time, get as many questions answered as we can, and keep us on pace. Our goal is to answer your questions as they come in. So if you were joining in at the beginning, we were practicing using that chat box. That's actually how you're going to be asking your questions. Our agenda today is we've created a presentation that allows for some discussion around Facebook fundraising as a vehicle for increasing your revenue for your nonprofits. So that being said, we're going to hop right into everyone's favorite part, housekeeping notes. See, cruise director, I get all the fun stuff today. So number one question that we're going to get 1,000 times, and I'm just going to go ahead and answer it. We're still going to get it, but I want everyone to know I'm answering you right now. This webinar is being recorded. That's right, we're recording this. So you can share it with your coworkers, your friends. You can watch it later with your dog when you're cuddled up with your glass of wine on a Friday night, whenever you want. But this is being recorded and will be sent out for you. We practice that chat. I've said chat a lot already, but that's going to be how you're asking your questions throughout the presentation. I'm going to do my best to monitor those questions. I'm also in charge of the slides, so I'm going to do my best to be cruise director, get those questions answered, but we do have time for questions at the end. I will also note that you may want to be a little careful with your chat. Everyone can see your chat, as you saw when we were practicing. So if you're messaging Caitlin something specific and you want to talk about how good my hair looks or my scarf is so pretty, just make sure that those are one-on-one, or if it's something you maybe don't want anybody else to read, I would just text your friend instead of chat your friend on this call. And let's see, I'm making sure I hit all of my, we'll answer questions as they come. So let's go ahead and dive in. I want to, as a cruise director, introduce myself and then throw it over to our industry experts and friends that are on the call. My name is Megan Rouse, and this is my golden retriever named Taco. Most tacos are Chihuahuas, but not my guy. He's almost 90 pounds and 1 year old. I am a strategist and the director of partnerships here at Turnkey. And I have been with Turnkey a little over 1.5 years, and I also am a personal fundraiser. I raise money just about every second of every day. Actually, right now I'm selling Super Bowl squares if anybody needs one. But I will throw it over to Caitlin to give us a little intro to her.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin Watkins. I'm the digital lead in peer-to-peer fundraising at Best Friends Animal Society. You'll see me here with my dog Jolene. She's my inspiration for pretty much all things. I think she just tried to come in earlier to say hi. And I'm really glad to be here today. I know we have a lot of rescue organizations here and a lot of my personal friends, so I'm excited to talk about Facebook fundraising with Jeremy.
Thanks, Caitlin. And my name is Jeremy Berman. I am calling in from Charleston, South Carolina. And my dog would be sad if I didn't mention her because she's not in my picture, but I have a 90-pound yellow lab, Lucy, who loves the beach. Outside of hanging out with my dog, Lucy, I am the founder of Good United. At Good United, we are social fundraising experts, and we spend all day and all night thinking about how we can help organizations better leverage the Facebook giving tools to increase donations and build relationships with their fundraisers and donors over time. So it is a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to jump into the good details now.
Thank you. So the three of us will be kind of tag teaming and jumping in throughout the presentation and conversation. Before we dive in, we are going to, experimental, so cross your fingers on our Friday that this works, but we want to get a poll of the audience to kind of see who's on the call and what you are currently doing with your Facebook fundraising. If the words Facebook fundraising are brand new to you and you don't even know, we're going to address that, but we really want to be able to focus our time on the call on what matters. So there should be a, there we go. There should be a poll that just popped up on your screen. Thank you, behind the scenes drivers. And there's just 3 quick questions. If you would go ahead and answer those. The first one is your Facebook fundraising turned on? Do you even use it? Are you leveraging the integration functionality? If you don't know what integration functionality even means, don't worry, we're gonna address it. And then if you know your monthly Facebook revenue. So I'm gonna go ahead and give just a quick minute to get everyone to answer those. You should see those popped up on your screen. And these are anonymous, thank you. We will not record your answers. We just wanna get a pulse of kind of who's on the call and what your Facebook fundraising looks like. And then Kelly, can you help me see the answers once we close this out? We'll spend another 30 seconds right here. Perfect. Looks like 3/4 of our attendees have voted. You got about 30 more seconds to enter in that vote before we close it out. We'll do like a New Year's Eve countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kelly, will you close us out? Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so is your Facebook fundraising turned on? Jeremy, this is my first time to poll. Can you actually see the poll results on my screen or no?
I can, yes.
Oh, great. Okay, then I don't need to read all these. Okay. Is your Facebook fundraising turned on? The majority on the call are yes. Are you leveraging integration? More than almost half say we don't know what that means. And looks like the majority of our folks, the monthly revenue is about 25,000 or less. Perfect. Okay, we'll come back to that, but that helps our experts kind of know where to steer the conversation. So before we dive in, I just want to point out a couple of things about this topic. One, this is clearly a very interesting topic. We had almost 200 people register for this webinar. So this is something that all organizations that we encounter are working with, experiencing, having questions around. And before we hear from our guests, I just wanted to show this. And I know this is something that resonates in everyone's mind, but when we look at our millennial donors, our Gen X donors, and our baby boomers, the majority of them are giving online. And then I thought it was really interesting how we're meeting them and how we're getting their attention. So for the millennials and the Gen X donors, we're capturing them on social media. So this is such a great way that we're capturing them and then they don't have to leave to make the donation. We're getting them in platform. And I thought it was really interesting as well as how much time we spend on social media. I'm sure I'm not the only one on a call who says, like, we just had one more hour in the day. Well, clearly we're spending over 2 hours on social media. We probably could find another hour in the day. But it's why it's so important. This number continues to go up and up and up and how long people are spending in these platforms. So this is just going to continue being a really important revenue channel for organizations. All right, so before we start, we want to level set with a couple of terms that you'll need to make sure you are aware of. So I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy, our expert, to kind of level set us so we are all speaking the same language as we get started.
Thanks, Megan. I've learned giving several of these presentations that if we do not orient on keywords up front, you might be thinking I'm talking about X when I'm really talking about Y. So here is the glossary for how we will describe certain terms throughout this presentation. So when you hear us refer to a direct fundraiser on Facebook, we're largely referring to the fundraisers that originate on Facebook. The key driver of these is the birthday campaigns. So these are direct or birthday fundraisers. The other category of fundraisers you'll hear us refer to is a P2P or an integrated Facebook fundraiser. In this example, a participant is able to create a fundraiser on an organization's website, perhaps using Luminate Online, for example. And using an integration they have with Facebook, they can deploy these campaigns and actually raise money on Facebook as well as the website. And then both of those donations count towards the same goal. So those are what we will refer to as peer-to-peer or integrated Facebook fundraisers. And then when we say donor, fundraiser, and even campaign, what we're referring to is a fundraiser is an individual that will create a campaign to raise money, and a donor will make a contribution to that fundraiser's campaign. So all that to say, donors and fundraisers are people in the context of this presentation. So where I think is a great place to get started is to give you a quick overview on our perspective on the third wave of giving. So at Good United, we have a core belief that we as society are in the third major wave of giving, and that giving is happening through social media, largely driven by Facebook. Now, this is the third wave. If we look at where the first wave started, it was with direct mail. And with direct mail, you finally had the opportunity to give to organizations that were outside a 1 mile radius of your home. And that was a really impactful way, as you know, for organizations like yours to make additional donations. And what was really powerful was that direct mail was tied to a home address. And that was a way you could follow up and cultivate people to give again and again over time. That all shifted with the advent of the internet. When the internet came around in 1990s, early 2000s, software companies like Blackbaud started to create really powerful tools that allowed you to raise money from people through the internet. And the whole concept of online giving traditionally was driven through this email address. And once somebody gave online through a website, a donation form, a peer-to-peer event, they gave you that email address, and that enabled you to follow up and cultivate them over time. Now, with this shift to social, there are some things that are fundamentally changing. With direct mail and online, you really had the capability to control the end-to-end experience for the donors and the individuals you were reaching out to. But with social media, you are bound to play by the social media's platform's rules. And as we're learning in this third shift of giving, the rules are different from what they were previously. Organizations no longer have that opportunity to control the end-to-end experience and to get all the data that they want or they need along the way. So what we need to do is to adapt our strategies and to figure out how to get the maximum out of this new social media giving channel. And at Good United, that's really where we spend a lot of our time thinking about. It's how do we cultivate, how do we create these exceptional fundraising experiences in the context of where these donors and fundraisers are spending time. Now, Megan, if you go to the next slide, one of the main questions we always get is whether this shift to social is cannibalizing existing donation streams. We have done a number of different case studies analyzing this exact question, and I can tell you very confidently it's not. And if you think about it, it makes sense. When the shift happened from direct mail to online giving, it never really cannibalized direct mail. Direct mail is still a massive opportunity today, and many organizations have very successful strategies using that direct mail approach. So online expanded the potential people that you could reach. And what we're finding with giving through Facebook and social media is that it's really no different. Through these case studies, we've proven that over 85% of these social fundraisers and donors are new to your organization, meaning they have never given to you before, they've never participated in an event, and this is really your opportunity for a first impression, right? They are giving to you because they care about the cause that you support, and they're open to learn about how you impact this cause that they care so deeply about. So if you shift your mindset into thinking of these giving through social as an acquisition opportunity to expand your target donor base, there's tremendous opportunity in that arena. And that's really what we're going to focus on today. It's how do we look at this third wave of giving and have a complementary strategy to what is already working so well with direct mail and online through the tools that you're using today. Now, we are at the very early stages of giving on social. As you are well aware, Facebook is the main driver of revenue today with the launch of their giving tools. And Facebook launched a number of different giving tools. They have the donate button on your page, they have the donate button on your post, of course, the Facebook fundraiser, Instagram video fundraiser. But when we talk about clear dollars and cents, an overwhelming majority is coming from the Facebook fundraisers, largely driven by those birthday campaigns. So that's not to say this will not change in the future. This is just a snapshot of the market today to give you an insight as to where an effective strategy might be a good starting place within the fundraiser world, but to make sure you're still testing and using these other giving tools as well, because I think we're going to see more and more donations coming outside of the fundraisers as more organizations and more donors adopt giving through social.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeremy. So I'm just going to do a quick run through of today's agenda. We're going to talk about overall digital strategy, the challenges that come along with this great revenue generation of Facebook fundraising, what we do to cultivate those Facebook fundraisers once we get them, and then we're going to do a lightning round to close it out where we talk through some of the new channels that are coming in via Facebook fundraising. So we're going to jump right in. This is one of my favorite movies, and if you don't recognize this, then you can just get off this call. No, I'm just kidding. So this is from Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. So as Jeremy was talking about, all of this great revenue is coming from Facebook fundraising. A report from September 2019 said that since 2015, 45 million people have raised over $2 billion on Facebook. That's billion with a B. And over 1 billion of that has come from that birthday fundraising. So if you click, yes, let's turn it on, let's let the money pour in, will that actually work? So we're gonna have Caitlin share her experience with how they went about getting started with their Facebook fundraising.
Awesome, thank you. I wanted to start out by outlining the state of affairs with our Facebook fundraising strategy. As you can see, where all systems go, we pretty much use every tool Facebook provides. The majority is from our Facebook fundraisers, which is largely birthday fundraisers, again, at 96%. We also have the Facebook Team Raiser integration. We do this for our Strut Your Mutt, which is our signature peer-to-peer walk event, as well as our DIY program, which is called BF Fundraisers. In addition, during key times of year, we use page fundraisers. So Giving Tuesday, we had a fundraiser that was nearly $70,000 in revenue. And also during other key organizational giving days like Best Friends Day, which we celebrate. We do that very, very sparingly, actually. So Facebook Lives and posts during those times were also used very sparingly and strategically. And then, of course, we have those standard donate button and the Instagram donate sticker that we're excited about seeing grow. We decided to originally ride the wave because we learned early on that you have to be where people are. People spend a lot of time on their social outlets. And if we didn't use Facebook, we would be missing out on a lot of people who are excited about our mission. They want to raise awareness and funds for our organization, and this gives us the opportunity to do that really seamlessly. So regardless of all of the dearth of data from Facebook, we decided to go all in and simultaneously invest in tools like Good United that help us to streamline efforts and resources while trying to get the most data we could possibly get from Facebook, and cultivating them on other outlets like Facebook Messenger. So with more competition and more organizations signing up for Facebook, like hopefully all of you today who aren't currently on it, will get on it. It feels like keeping up with the Joneses. It's very similar to digital advertising. I think nowadays you have to invest more and more to make the same amount year over year. So the return ends up being lower. And we have found we're plateauing. So the Facebook fundraising trend has caught on, and we have to figure out how to maintain and grow this channel while also diversifying with the help of Facebook giving tools. And the revenue with Facebook has never been predictable. It's shot up and kind of stabilized over time. So as they add more tools, we're constantly testing and hoping they work on our audience. Our motto tends to be always be testing. And so that's really helped us to stay on top of those trends. As far as building the foundation and zooming out a little bit on our overall strategy within the Facebook ecosystem, because they definitely don't operate in silos. If you take one thing away from this webinar, I think it starts with storytelling. Establishing those authentic relationships and donor trust really is the foundation of a strong peer-to-peer program. Whether you're on Facebook or running a marathon like Megan or walking a 5K, a lot of people really forget that Facebook is a peer-to-peer platform. So when you're raising money on Facebook, it's important to have a social strategy in place that focuses on your organization's mission and vision, while still bringing your audience through a really divine experience. So as an animal welfare organization, we have the benefit of having so much amazing puppy, kitten, amazing content. It's the best part of my job. And we get to share that with our followers and bring them into our community. So in order for people to actually create a fundraiser or to donate to your organization, they really do need to be inspired by your cause. So to Reed asked this point earlier this week, if you're seeing a dip or plateau in your Facebook fundraising, I would say consider shaking up your social strategy and trying something new. 85% of people actually trust user-generated content over that of businesses or organizations. So if you have to inspire people continuously, and you can do that through organic and even paid social strategies. If people aren't fundraising for you, it means they're not inspired. So I think kind of zooming out a little bit and starting with social strategy might help. And this kind of made me think of when Facebook had that poke feature, which was a little creepy back in the day. I remember it was a while ago. I think it's been 10 years. But I would say instead of poking them and always asking for money or to fundraise, friend your Facebook audience. Bring them into your fold, into your community. Don't be that guy, that friend that's always asking for favors and never doing anything for you in return. It's definitely a two-way relationship in street, and you definitely have to steward your followers throughout their experience.
Caitlin, did you know if you look hard enough on Facebook that the poke feature is still around?
I didn't know that. We shouldn't bring it back.
Fun fact for the day. Yeah, do not. Super creepy.
I never liked it. But anyway, so if someone is coming to you on Facebook or Instagram, I would say allow them to also stay where they feel most comfortable. Your content there is attracting them, and they're really familiar with the Facebook fundraising tools. So we've tested this over the past couple of years during high giving times, during end of year, our best friends day, and I've learned that directing our social audience off platform has not been successful for us. So now with all of our posts and our promotions around fundraising, we keep them on Facebook. We ask them to donate via the Facebook donate button on posts or Facebook Live that we have with our engaging content. Not asking for money, actually. We just provide amazing content for people to watch and provide the donate button without an ask. And then we also direct people to Facebook fundraisers. So on Giving Tuesday, all of the donation asks were directed to that fundraiser, which made it really successful. And we were able to attribute a lot to Facebook that we hadn't been doing last year. So we saw a dip in some of our Illuminate forms, for example, because we weren't directing people there. And kind of with this engagement, I would say you have to start by attracting people and then engaging them. And whatever you do, I think you have to work with your social team to respond to messages and to comments, and always interact and answer questions on your social channels. That's so vital. I think it's been kind of a strange intersection with Facebook fundraising, at least in our like organizational structure, like who handles what. Is it the social team? Is it the marketing team? Is it fundraising? And I think we've been really, really good at collaborating and kind of being on the same page about social team asking for fundraising in their strategy and having that be incorporated versus being very hesitant to do that. So I feel lucky within our organization, but I also feel like there's a lot of room for opportunity just to collaborate across channels and to keep that rhythm going. So as far as campaign planning, I would say this is a solid structure for a campaign plan or strategy brief. If you've completed a campaign plan before, you may know that it's really, really important to track goals. So we're always tracking our progress with Facebook over time. And it's been really interesting to track year over year, actually. We have seen it level out and plateau since there was a huge spike, and we just really didn't know what to expect at first. But now that it's here and it's here to stay. It can't revolve around just fundraising. It may work for the very short term to have those fundraising asks, but ultimately, like with any peer-to-peer fundraiser, your well will run dry. And at this point, I think it's a lot about retaining those existing fundraisers and keeping them fundraising year over year. That's something that we're focusing on a lot, the same way you would with a walk event, having people, past participants, return and fundraise again for you. There's only so many people that are going to fundraise, and there's only so many people that are going to fundraise for you. So keeping those donors happy and stewarding them over time is going to be a huge benefit for you. Alrighty.
Sorry, I got stuck on mute. So just, Caitlin, this question came up and I put a slide holder in this because I knew this was going to happen. Like Caitlin said, they are an organization that has great imagery, has great stories to tell. Can you just share a little bit about content that you have seen be successful?
Sure. So as an organization, we definitely focus on positivity. And so a lot of, you'll see here, our imagery is really crisp. It tends to be very upbeat and joyful. And I think that we actually, I learned this from our social manager yesterday, that we have people every single day thank us for that upbeat content. And, you know, it's true in animal welfare, it's true across the board. If you have a good story, if you have a good photo, you'll engage people. Of course, stay short and to the point, tug at people's heartstrings, but that's definitely something that we've seen be very successful for us. And it's set us apart from a lot of large animal welfare organizations. In that we focus on the positivity and the joy and the future versus like the past and the chains and the sad faces and the Sarah McLachlan commercials. So that's just what kind of sets us apart as an organization. And I think it's what keeps people coming back and liking us on Instagram. We have 500,000 followers on Instagram and over 1 million on Facebook. So that's definitely a large funnel for those fundraisers. And it's been a key part of the strategy in being one of the top fundraising organizations on Facebook.
Great, thank you. I think it's such a best practice to have happy, uplifting content. That you're right. I want to check that when I'm getting ready in the morning or on my coffee break later or whatever.
Exactly.
So diving more into Facebook, there are a lot of things that work and a lot of things that don't work. And so we have asked Caitlin to kind of share what their organization is able to work well with Facebook and where the challenges still lie.
Sure. This is one of my favorite memes, but I think it does a lot to say about Facebook and the data. Originally, we were a little bit hesitant to dive into the Facebook world because of that data issue. Due to privacy issues, they don't allow much donor or fundraiser information on Facebook. And it tends to be around 1% to 3% who opt in on Facebook fundraising to submit their email. And a side note, we're seeing this actually across all of the third-party platforms and peer-to-peer channels, like with live streaming. So I think it's the way of the world now, and I think that is especially true with younger generations. So now with the help of Good United, we've actually increased that from 1 to 3% up to 27% of fundraiser emails. That's above their benchmark, so I feel really happy with that. And it's pretty remarkable how much information we're able to get because of that service. Those emails are extremely valuable to us over time also, because it gives us an opportunity to continuously cultivate them through a welcome series and other channels, where we can gather more information about what they're passionate about, if they're a dog person, a cat person, or what their advocacy area is and their interests, to bring them really through a fabulous fundraiser journey with a tangible lifetime value. So essentially keeping them in our fold and in our community over time. Initially, actually, resourcing was the biggest challenge for us as an organization, because we couldn't keep up with everyone and steward them properly. There were like too many to even thank and to report on. So we wanted to give them the same experience they would have in person at any of our life-saving centers across the country, or at our no-kill sanctuary in Utah. Initially, we were just commenting on their Facebook fundraiser wall with a thank you note, but that was really time intensive. So it took up to one person to do that work. So that's why we decided to automate it with Good United, and to improve the process to have better outcomes. So not everyone, it doesn't make sense for everyone to have that, of course, but you can still do that yourself within a new feature that we didn't have before in the dark ages. There's a new feature on Facebook Fundraiser that you can thank all of your fundraisers on their actual Facebook fundraiser wall. So with the data we're able to gather, all of those 27% of fundraiser emails, we put those people into our CRM, into a specific group. So we're able to sachet them through a donor journey that makes sense for them, and have touch points that bring them into our organization, since 85% of those people are brand new audience. And I think it's also important to note here that a Facebook fundraiser is really, really different than a live stream fundraiser, is different than a walk fundraiser. And fundraisers are really different than donors. So actually doing some mapping, I've been doing a lot of fundraiser donor journey mapping lately with all of our peer-to-peer programs. Doing that mapping is really important to see what touch points they have, from Facebook to your other channels and audiences.
Jeremy, do you want to jump in? I think I may have deleted one of your wonderful slides about how Good United works in helping capture some of that data that is not available just to nonprofits on their own.
Yeah, I'd love to. So as Caitlin mentioned, some of the bigger challenges using Facebook fundraising is that it's very difficult to thank all of your active Facebook fundraisers and to give them opportunities to have meaningful fundraising experiences. So how we solve that problem at Good United is, first, we have a team of people that manually send thank you notes to every single active Facebook fundraiser. And as Caitlin mentioned, you can write a thank you note on behalf of an organization on that Facebook fundraiser wall. Now, the reason that's important is somewhat obvious, is that one, it's a great opportunity to at least say thank you for the gift, which is a dependency, I would say, if you ever hope to get this person to give to you again. But more importantly, it also gives your organization an opportunity for that fundraiser to opt in to Facebook Messenger, where you can automate communications with Good United going forward. And that's really where the focus of our technology lies. So once that fundraiser opts in to Facebook Messenger, we start sending them trigger-based automated messages and asking certain questions to learn about them as we go. And really the whole idea is that because these Facebook fundraisers are new to your organization, we want to give them a really emotionally connecting fundraising experience so that they want to stay involved once that fundraising period is over. And to answer your question directly, Megan, how do we actually get emails? We believe that if we create these really emotionally connecting and transformational fundraising experiences through Messenger, then we have earned the right to ask that fundraiser to stay involved with that organization once that campaign is over. And one of the powerful parts about our technology is that we can ask for people to submit their email address through Facebook Messenger and programmatically take that email address, put it in a database, and make it accessible to the organizations through a web app. So using that process, using that technology, we create these amazingly compelling fundraising experiences. We learn all sorts of interesting and helpful information about these fundraisers, and we really get them excited to want to stay involved and to give again in the future.
Perfect. So we hit on this a little bit, where we're going to talk about keeping those fundraisers and keeping them cultivated once they've come to you on Facebook. Caitlin, anything, I know you just chatted about this a little bit, but anything else you want to add about cultivating those folks that come your way? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Now we have actual templates for what a fundraiser will receive and what a donor will receive through the Facebook Messenger automated app, which is great. So we're able to conditionalize content based on who they are, where they're coming from. We're actually working on personalizing that even more, so that if you're a dog person or a cat person, you receive different content or creative, or also based on our program areas. So if you're particularly passionate about breed-specific legislation or about puppy mills and preventing puppy mills, then you'll receive different kind of engagement. So you can share that with your audience and raise even more through your friends and family about issues that you're really passionate about. So that's kind of in the works, and I think that's anything else, Jeremy, you would say?
No, I think that the key, right, is the whole goal is to create these personal and meaningful conversations with the fundraisers. And that's the power of conversational messaging, in that it's not a one-way push of information to send to a large amount of people. It's that in real time, you can ask, are you a dog person or a cat person? And learn what they are by their response and dynamically change the experience to be something that they're more likely to engage with. And we've proven that if we can do that really well, people will continuously come back to open messages, take actions, and most importantly, raise more money through Facebook fundraising.
Awesome. Caitlin, do you want to talk a little bit about the results and what changed for your organization when you partnered with Good United?
Yes, so I think I've gone through the goals already, but we definitely wanted to steward every single donor and make them, at the very, very least, thank them for their fundraising efforts, because before they were just kind of living in a silo. So to thank them, and then of course to send them messages, storytelling really. We have on the previous slide, there's a story about a foster duo that has done really, really well. It's performed well because it's it pulls at your heartstrings, and it's a sweet story that people want to share with their audience and fundraise even more. So kind of the automation has been really helpful as well. And then also to increase the donations for each fundraiser. So we provide them tools and resources in that automation that they want to share and that is important to them, so they're able to raise even more money. So we've actually seen a campaign lift of $50 per fundraiser because of that messaging. That's really helped in not only stewarding people, but raising even more money, which has been, of course, wonderful.
Great, thank you. So one of the questions I asked Jeremy before when we were brainstorming this webinar was, Jeremy, I'm going to come to this webinar and we're going to listen to all these great thoughts from Caitlin and yourself, but what are the quick tips and tricks I can write down in my notebook, leave that webinar, and go take action on my Facebook fundraising? So Jeremy is giving us a little peek into some of the secret sauce and is going to share some tips and tricks with us.
Thanks, Megan. So there's two groups of organizations, I would say, that leverage Facebook fundraising giving tools. In one group, there are the early adopters that are large national brands that have the benefit of having people donate their birthdays to their organization with very little marketing strategy from the organization itself. These individuals are just picking those organizations from a drop-down list on Facebook and essentially raising money on behalf of that nonprofit, and that nonprofit doesn't really have to do that much to make that happen, other than the most important thing, which Caitlin referenced, which is create that really compelling social media experience so that you are relevant and someone does think of you at this time. Now, there's a whole other group of organizations that want to begin to use Facebook fundraising today, but aren't in a place where individuals are automatically choosing them during the point of the campaign. So there are certain strategies that organizations have put in place to increase the number of people that raise money for them on Facebook. One of the core tenets of this program or of this strategy is leveraging a Facebook tool or feature that is known as the simple fundraiser creation link. So if you are already registered for the giving tools on Facebook and you go to settings and you go to the donation tab where you get those transaction reports, there is this simple fundraising creation link. And what this enables you to do is to send this link out to people. And when they click that link, they are automatically loaded with a campaign for your organization, meaning they don't have to select your organization. It's already pre-populated. And the beauty of the Facebook fundraising world is that people can launch campaigns in less than 2 clicks. It's 1 to 2 clicks depending on the entry point. So there's been a number of tests we've conducted where people will use email and their existing lists and ask their constituents to raise money through Facebook using this simple link and through their website where they might have to fill out a form. And what we found is that people are more likely to launch on Facebook simply because there's less friction. If you can launch a campaign in 2 clicks, you are much more likely to do that because it is very easy. And then of course, once you launch on Facebook, you have the beauty of their algorithm to surface your campaign, to promote it to your network, to drive additional donations. So that's one strategy for how do you leverage your existing base and create fundraisers that they might not have created otherwise using this simple fundraiser creation link. The other strategy builds on top of this, and it is to actually buy ads to target new individuals that do not already follow your page, but do have a high affinity for your cause. And using the Facebook ad tool set, you can do all sorts of targeting, but one of the more impactful ways you can target individuals is around their birthday, right? Facebook has already proven that individuals will donate their birthday to nonprofits like your own. And by buying an ad, you could essentially get to them first before Facebook gives them the opportunity to select any organization and give them a call to action with that simple fundraiser creation link and drive the number of new fundraisers up because they see it on Facebook. In less than 2 clicks, they get that campaign up, and then you're able to hopefully see an average raise of about $100, which is what we find is the average Facebook fundraiser coming from this channel. On the next slide, Megan, are some more, I would say, advanced tips and tricks. So as we mentioned through our story with Caitlin and what we really focus on at Good United, it's about getting meaningful data about your fundraisers. And then the question becomes, well, now that I have this really meaningful data, how do I extend that experience to get these people to give again through email, or if you choose, through Messenger. And we work with incredibly innovative organizations that are doing all sorts of things, from the Lupus Foundation, of course, to Best Friends as well. And what they're doing is they're taking some of this information, like whether it was a birthday fundraiser or not, and creating email campaigns that are focused on that individual fundraiser's path. If I created a birthday campaign for Best Friends, it's really meaningful if I do get that follow-up communication thanking me for donating my birthday specifically, as opposed to saying thank you for your donation. And then as they cultivate me throughout the year, there is the opportunity to, of course, ask me to donate my birthday again. Because you know it's my birthday, at least I did a birthday campaign. You know when I started that campaign, so generally you know when at least a month my birthday is in, and you can put together a strategy for a specific birthday retention call to action. And that has been really powerful as well. Outside of that, there's all other sorts of ways that organizations are creatively using Messenger and their existing programs to drive new results. In the P2P world, of course, recognition programs are such an incredible way to motivate people to raise more money. And we found that we can extend those recognition programs through Facebook fundraising to drive results that way. There's then the concept of a donor circle program. So when fundraisers or donors hit certain thresholds, whether it's $100, $500, $1,000, to treat them in a meaningful way, give them a phone call, thank them, follow up, etc. And then some of the more advanced organizations are actually connecting marketing with development. And they're acquiring all this data through the marketing team, but they're actually leveraging some of the products that development typically uses, like the wealth screens. And they're actually using these email addresses to say, yeah, Jeremy raised, $100 on Facebook, but he has the potential and the affinity to give much more. And that gets handed off to the development teams, where they then start to cultivate me in a different way than if I just stayed in marketing and was put on an email sequence. So these are just some ideas for how organizations are leveraging the momentum of Facebook fundraising and continuing the experience in other channels where they've proven to drive success using some of the great products that are out there today.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we're going into our lightning round. The good news is there's still more content coming. The bad news is I failed you as cruise director and I have not done the best of keeping time. So during this part, if you want to chat in or your questions, any questions that we're not able to answer at the end, we will personally follow up with you. Every question will get answered, I promise. But we're going to do a quick lightning round where we are going to hit different digital revenue channels. And we're going to start with Jeremy. He can just give a tip, a trick, something to know what it is, high level, and Caitlin, you weigh in too, but we're going to do these pretty quick, so we have just a couple minutes for questions. So the very first part of this is Facebook donate. Jeremy, what do I need to know, or what's the best practice around Facebook donate?
People don't take actions unless you tell them to take actions. So don't assume just because there's a button on the page that the money's going to come in. You actually have to create a strategy driving them to this call to action, or to put a donate button on their own posts to drive donations.
Like that was like double hand emphasis. I like it. Caitlin, anything you want to add to Facebook donate?
We see very few donations come in through Facebook donate. It's important to be there if someone wants to go to your page, but actually most people don't actually go to your organization's page. They see your posts on their newsfeed if they like you or they follow you. So they're not actually getting on the Facebook donate button, but it's important to be there, of course. It doesn't really act as the same as your organization's website, for example, though.
Cool thing though, once you give one time through Facebook, any additional time you want to give, you could do so in one click of a button. So there is a worthwhile strategy in figuring out how to increase the donates because there is no friction from the end user.
Nice. Facebook page fundraisers. Jeremy.
We have seen organizations successfully or most successfully use page fundraisers during their own giving months and using influencers to drive additional donations. So again, don't build it and assume people will come. When you build a Facebook page fundraiser, it takes incredible thought and strategy to actually make it successful. Because we found people are more likely to give to their friends and family through birthday campaigns than page fundraisers, but you can have success with page fundraisers if you invest in a strategy to get people to do so.
Will you elaborate just a little bit more when you say using an influencer to amplify kind of that message?
Yeah, so some of the organizations that we've worked with have used celebrities to either promote their page fundraiser or to host a fundraiser on behalf of that organization. So slightly similar to what's happening in live streaming, getting someone that already has a big audience to drive attention to your campaign.
Perfect. Thank you. Caitlin.
Great point. I would say the same thing goes with social strategy. It's definitely important to have posts around your campaign and what it means and the significance of the campaign and drive people to your fundraiser, because it's actually really cool to have a thermometer and to track those funds coming in. And with the page fundraisers, actually, we set a goal, say of 10,000, and once we reach 10,000, we set it for 5,000 more. And so I continuously raise the goal for our Facebook page fundraisers, because you never know how much you can raise, and you shouldn't limit people to giving even more. So I think we specifically use it for campaigns that are really important to us. So a couple of times a year, maybe once a quarter. I would not overextend your audience and have too many page fundraisers.
Jeremy, you unmuted. Were you hopping back in, or are you ready for the next one?
Ready for the next one.
Okay. Integrated or connected Facebook fundraisers. Jeremy, I'm gonna let you start, and I have a follow-up question in case you
Didn't realize this was the lightning round when I built the slide. So the lightning round,
take your time.
the lightning round for this is turn it on or leverage it. If you have Luminate Online or some of the other platforms that offer the Facebook integration, it is proven you will raise more money. So it is worth the investment to figure out how to turn it on, how to leverage the network effects of Facebook. And if you do that, we can then further enhance your revenue and provide additional capabilities by.
One of the questions I had on a call literally just before this was, hey, we just found out our platform does this integration now, but it costs this much. Is it worth it if we're a fairly new or smaller program? Like, how do I know? Should I always turn it on? Is it best practice? There should be a level where I should turn it on. Do you have any advice around that?
I would say yes, always turn it on. I don't know the cost of this specific platform, but we have found in almost every example where we've done a case study, there's been an incredibly high ROI for doing so.
Great. Caitlin, anything to add?
I have a lot to add about this, and if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. We've turned it on for our Strut Your Mutt event, which is our big walk event, and we actually help other organizations fundraise. So that's kind of what sets our event apart. A lot of the rescues on here, I'm sure, do Strut Your Mutt, but we have over 300 network partner organizations who fundraise for their own rescues and shelters. So providing this tool for them, I think, was really, really successful. Facebook fundraisers who did integrate through Team Racer, we have Luminate Online. They raised over $100 more than people who did not. We also raised nearly, I think it was 30% of all funds this year was through Facebook. And that integration, it was over $700,000 in funds through Facebook alone. So 100% turn it on. It may be expensive, but it's worth it. It's a good investment. And we are actually also testing Facebook Messenger through our Strut Your Mutt event. So we'll be able to automatically message people the same way we do with our other birthday fundraisers. So I'm excited to see the outcome of that. And working with Good United on that, it's going to be a really interesting solution to the problem of stewarding those donors as well.
Great. Jeremy, I'll give you one more throwback because this was not supposed to be the lightning round slide. Anything else you want to add to this one?
one of the core problems that people keep bringing up is the $0 Facebook fundraisers. So we have found a way to do that with this peer-to-peer solution. And I think that's going to be a huge opportunity to further increase donations and revenue through the Facebook platform. So we are very bullish. We're very grateful to be partners with Blackbaud to be able to get this out. And we are looking forward to seeing the results.
Great. Last one is Instagram.
Caitlin, you go first for this one.
I love Instagram. I would definitely actually add a tutorial in your stories section on how to fundraise on Instagram. Show your audience through a couple of different stories how to actually add it to their own stories. So they're little micro fundraisers. I think that's really, really important. That's the only way they'll actually use it. And on select campaigns, as you would for Facebook, choose wisely on when you post it, and don't overextend your audience as well. It actually flows into the Facebook transaction reports because Instagram is owned by Facebook, so all of the data comes from the same place. And it's really interesting because you can track through the source code on the Facebook transaction reports. Also happy to answer questions on this. I think it's the future of fundraising.
I couldn't agree more. We're in the very early days of giving on Instagram, but my expectation is just like Facebook fundraising, where it kind of went a little slow at first and Facebook optimized and A/B tested a bunch of stuff until they found the birthday campaign where it took off. I expect Instagram to be the future of fundraising as well. And it's worthwhile to start to learn how it works so that when it does catch on and people start giving full steam, you're already ahead of the game and you can invest in a strategy that you know already works.
I would also say you can't message them through their DMs or whatever because you don't have that information through data. So there's not currently a way to steward these people who are donating on Instagram, but that's okay. They're just going to donate small amounts. $1 to $5 is the most common amounts we see through Instagram.
2020 prediction. Instagram allows DMs to fundraisers and donors. You heard it here
Slide
first.
into the DMs.
Total guess. We'll see.
I'm so sad I didn't have a slide into the DM slide then. Dang. Okay, you have the worst cruise director today. I am so sorry. We will stay on the line if you want to type in your questions in the chat so we can record those. Jeremy, Caitlin, and I will debrief and make sure all questions are answered. Also wanted to just put up my contact information. If you have any questions, need anything, hey, I didn't think about this, or whatever it is, however I can be a resource to you and connecting you to our wonderful presenters, please let me know. My email address is on here, and we wish you a very happy Friday. Like I said, we'll leave the line open just for another minute or two just to record any questions and follow up, as well as send out the recording later on. Caitlin, Jeremy, any final thoughts as our folks are typing in their last questions other than boo on the cruise director?
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for joining. And if anyone needs to get hold of me, my email is jeremy@goodunited.io. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Yes, we'll send out contact information. We'll make that easy for everybody in our follow-up email. And a picture of Jeremy's dog as promised.
Yes, Lucy will be proud.
Yes. Perfect. All right, everyone, happy Friday. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. Kelly, Sherry, our behind-the-scenes drivers. Let's leave it open, I guess, for just one more minute for those questions, and I'll let you guys roll us off. Caitlin and Jeremy, thank you so much for your time, and I'll circle back with you.
Should we answer questions that are coming in?
I just wonder if these people are dropping, so I think we'll do it offline with them.
Okay.
So I don't want us to think we answered it and then them not get their answer. We'll send a question and answer document along with the recording out to everybody.
Beautiful. All right. Thanks, Megan.
Perfect.